Welcome to my art studio, which I haven't actually used for any art studioing since we moved in. This used to be a bedroom, and although it was always supposed to become my art studio, I just haven't really gotten to it yet. I never really come here. I never work here. I always sit in the living room because I like the living room. The living room makes me happy. So I think there is only one logical thing to do, and that is to bring the living room vibes into my art studio. But because I haven't actually used this room very much, it became a disaster. It became storage. Everything that I acquire ends up in here, and also everything that we are too lazy to bring upstairs ends up in here. It is a mess, and I need to clean that up. Why, hello. Is there maybe some attention that you needed? You missed your sweet face. I love you. But I have some serious plans for this entire room, so let me show you. So the room I'm working with is quite big and rectangular, which gives me the perfect opportunity to divide the space into two, and that way I can have a crafts area on one side and then an office area on the other side. Now for the crafts area, there are two things that are important to me. I want a proper workbench where I can do my projects, and I want a whole lot of storage to store all my craft supplies. For the other side, I am not quite sure yet if I actually want a desk or if I might just use the workbench as a desk and create a little seating area there instead, but that is for a later project because in this video I will focus on the storage space for the craft side. At this very moment there are a bunch of big closets on this wall, and I want to replace that with a whole lot of shelves, and when I say a lot I mean a lot, because I want all my arts and craft supplies to be stored and displayed on that wall, and anything that looks a little bit messy will be hidden in baskets and behind little doors. But before we can even get started on that, there is a lot more to do. A newspaper clipping from, when all those poor children started disappearing out of Derry due to a rogue clown. I'll lift it. I can't lift it. Hang on. Nope. Yes. Kinda. Oh, it's heavier than it looks. Ugh. Did I mention I don't like spiders? Oh, God. What is that? So I'm gonna slowly back away and call for help. Folks, come here. Look what I find. There, look, go, get it, look. Go, there. Do you see it? It's walking. Oh, that's even worse if you don't know where the spider went. Darn it. Could be anywhere, ready to jump at me. So now that things are looking a little bit more organized, and I'm saying a little because we are not nearly there yet, I want to get rid of these closets. These are IKEA PAX closets. They are perfect for clothing. They are not quite perfect for the kind of storage that I need in this space, mostly because they don't have any shelves. So I am going to take them all apart and take them upstairs, where I am actually going to build a walk-in closet at some point soon. Hopefully. So I have also decided to make things a little bit harder on myself and actually reassemble them as soon as I get them upstairs. That is going to make future me very happy when I'm building that wardrobe upstairs. So this is going to take me forever, and I have decided that I'm not going to film everything because I think that'll be kind of boring, and also it is going to go a lot faster if I don't have to move the camera around. I'm just going to get started and I will check back in with you later. Okay, so it didn't actually take me 74 years, but very close to it, all right? It took me about a week to get all these closets out. I had planned on just putting them upstairs so that we had something to put our clothing in because we didn't really have a wardrobe upstairs, but I accidentally made it pretty. So I am very happy with how that turned out. I am at some point going to turn that into a proper walk-in closet where I'm gonna build everything in. But for now, this is gonna work really, really well. I'm going to paint the wall behind me and the one on the side. I'm actually gonna paint them the same color that I have used in the living room because I love that one. I have done a little test piece on the wall, but it looks perfectly fine. So I'm gonna get started on that, and then we can start building 174 shelves. I'm not exaggerating. There's just a lot of shelves. Now, because I have learned from previous mistakes painting walls in this house, I treated the walls with a special primer first, because I have found that pieces of the old paint always chip off while I am painting, and there is nothing more frustrating than that. So after that, I put a normal layer of primer on, also to get rid of that dark green, and then I turned off my camera and completely forgot its existence. So, like magic, the walls were painted, and I started working on the base of my shelving thing. I had built myself a little cutting station on the ground right outside the room, and I had my entire car filled with lumber for this project, so I was ready. I had the lumber place cut the pieces a little longer than I needed them to be, so I could do the fine-tuning myself. I also had them cut all the leftover pieces into parts of 33.5 centimeters high. Those would be my vertical pieces that I would be using throughout the entire cabinet. I wanted the wood to be stained in my new favorite stain color called Wenge, which is a beautiful warm color, but I didn't have the space to stain everything all at once, so all throughout the project I had stained pieces drying on the floor while I was building with the pieces that had already dried, and so I would constantly switch between staining and cutting and building the cabinet. Every shelf was made out of 2 different sized pieces of wood to make the entire thing 35 centimeters deep. And then for each front shelf, I would cut out a little space that would go around that little corner that comes out at the end.
Oh, ear kisses. Lovely. I cannot really see what I'm doing. If I cut it wrong now, it would be your fault. Can I continue now? It's kind of dangerous. These are dangerous tools. Get away from the dangerous machine.
I had planned exactly how this entire wall was going to look, so I actually used Photoshop to design the entire thing, and every space is either a block of 33 by 33 or 2 blocks together, either horizontally or vertically. And that way I am hoping that although it's a very whimsical design, it won't look messy in the end, because I won't make the mess myself. Thank you very much. And no, of course, I did not notice that the bottom of the shelf was not stained until everything was put together. So it's the next day. I got pretty far yesterday, but I didn't finish. This room is an absolute disaster. That side is completely full with all my stuff stacked up. And this side is just one big construction zone, and not a very organized one at that. But you know what? I know where everything is. I'm just gonna keep going. I think the hardest part is done. I think that was the bottom row, and then the one that I've just finished. That is the one with the most little cuts that I had to do. So I'm happy that one is done. I'm just gonna keep building onto it, but I have to run to the store to get more stain because I still need to do those 2 shelves and I don't have enough stain. So I just kneeled down to pick something off of the floor and realized that this shelf right here is not stained.
Duh.
So I'm gonna have to take that apart and stain it. This entire process took me about 2 days, and most of that time is actually spent staining and waiting for things to dry. Also measuring things and then forgetting what the measurements were and having to measure again. And of course, looking for things that I've misplaced. But I thought this wall was coming together quite nicely. I actually put some decor pieces in there just because I couldn't stop myself. And then it was almost done. Then to finish it off, I added a baseboard at the bottom, which fits so snugly I could just hammer it in, and then it was finally ready to move my million things into it. Oh, I like it. It is so good. I'm really, really happy with how this turned out. I think it looks absolutely amazing. It's going to be really functional. So basically, I can just move all the stuff in there now. I have taken all the stuff that was on the other side of the room and sorted them out, kind of arranged them in little piles. Let me show you. I sorted out everything kind of how I want them to go into the closet. I also have all my paint supplies here. That is also all gonna go in there. But there is one more thing that I have to do, and that is where I made a tiny mistake, just a little bit. You see, I designed this entire thing around the Kallax inserts from IKEA because I thought that would be a really good way to incorporate some doors or drawers and baskets and things into this. And to make sure that everything fits, I checked the measurements. On the website, they say they are 33 by 33 centimeters, but I wasn't exactly sure. So I actually bought some so that I could put it together and measure the exact measurements. And I'm really happy I did that because they are not 33, they are 33 and a half. So that is why I made all these boxes exactly 33 and a half. But what I didn't do is measure how deep they are because I just completely assumed that they were also 33 and a half deep. They are not. So they do not fit. The baskets aren't really a problem. They stick out a little bit, but I don't really mind. The doors, however, is another story, but I do think I have a solution for that. This is what the insert of those things look like. So they are black on the inside and you basically just put them in like this. That's how they would slide in. This is quite thin. It's kind of a board kind of material. So I'm going to cut off the sides and I'm simply gonna make sure that the sides fit. I don't really care what it's gonna look like on the inside. I don't mind that it's not completely black all the way around. And then I will just assemble it the way that you usually would. And I think that would work perfectly fine. I did try to simply install the door without the insert piece, but it really needs that thickness of the board to create a space between the door and the side. So this was a perfectly easy fix. I replaced the standard doorknob that comes with it with a pretty one, and that was it. I could finally put all my stuff onto the shelves, which was a lot of fun to do. I put all my paintbrushes in little vases, and I folded all my pretty fabrics very neatly and tried to make everything look good while still being functional. So I hope that maybe I gave you some good ideas or inspiration for your own creative space. Next project, I'll be building a workbench, so stick around for that. And for now, thank you so much for watching and see you then. I'm working. I can't just cuddle you all day. You're standing on your brother. He's going to be mad at you. What is that? Beep again. I swear something has been beeping for days. And every time it beeps, it only beeps like 2 times, 3 times. And then when I walk over wherever I think it's coming from, it is gone. I have no idea what it is.